Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And members, today I rise to speak against Senate Bill 1362 because this bill, in my opinion, is truly the exact opposite of what I believe we should be doing as a state. This bill is a preemptive effort to block common sense gun safety policy that currently doesn't even exist in Texas. By opposing community safety efforts like extreme risk protection orders, ERPOs, or red flag laws as we're calling them, this legislature only makes our communities more dangerous and more susceptible to gun violence. Bills like this are nothing but political messaging by the pro-gun lobby to rail against common sense gun safety policy, and in doing so will only make Texas more and more dangerous. Members, I have not been a legislator for very long. I'm only in my fourth term. When I first came to this body in 2019, the leading causes of death in Texas among children 1 to 18 years old were, here are the top 5. Unintentional injuries, mostly car accidents, congenital anomalies, so like birth defects right when they're born, heart disease, suicide, abuse and neglect. Gun violence was not even in the top 5. Every session I've been here, this body has relaxed gun laws and encouraged gun proliferation, and gun deaths increased in Texas every year as a result. In 2021, this body legalized permitless carry, and gun violence spiked even more dramatically. And by the end of 2022, the leading cause of death among children in our state of Texas is from firearms. So before I started here, not in the top 5, this body has enacted these type of laws over and over again in every way they could imagine, and now it's the leading killer of children in our state. And for all of you members not paying attention, I wish you really cared about what's killing children in the state of Texas. And for anyone who tries to say that more guns in society make us safer, and believe it or not, that has actually been asserted in this chamber at this microphone by somebody wearing a straight face, I call BS. It's seriously hard to imagine the mental gymnastics that must go in to forming such brazenly false logic. But here we are. And if you think loosening regulations on guns makes us safer, you're ignoring the data. And if you know me, you know I brought some data for you today. So here you go. It's no secret that firearm ownership in the United States is very high. It's also no secret that gun violence here is very high. And I will assert that those facts are intimately connected. Firearm violence in the United States is much higher than our peer nations, which all have stronger regulations. And when I say much higher, I mean much higher. Among high-income countries with a population of more than 10 million, the USA is far and away the most dangerous place in the world for firearm homicides. Normalized for population, so we're talking firearm homicides per 100,000 people, the USA has 4.5 firearm homicides per 100,000 people, while the next closest country to us is Saudi Arabia at 1.45. The only other wealthy nation with over 10 million population where the firearm homicide rate is over 1 per 100,000 is Chile. And if it weren't for the United States and Chile, Canada and Sweden would be the outliers at 0.6 and 0.3 firearms per 100,000 people. France, Greece, Belgium, Italy, and Portugal all around 0.2. And Australia, Spain, Germany, Poland, and Romania, is Rep. Plesa in the House? Romania down around 0.1. Japan is roughly 0, almost unmeasurable. We are orders of magnitudes less safe for firearm violence in this country than any other of our peer nations, and it's because of efforts like this. The extreme risk protection orders that we're talking about here all have due process connected to them. They're based on long-standing domestic violence protection orders that are currently in place in all 50 states. And the data on states that use extreme risk protection orders is very encouraging. Connecticut's firearm suicide rate dropped 14% after they passed their ERPOs. Indiana down 7.5%. And a recent study of extreme risk protection orders in 6 states reported a 10% decrease of firearm homicides, and all of those states averaged. So that's why I stand before you today and encourage this body to stop going the wrong direction on gun regulation and come to a place where we can enact some common sense safety reforms and try to save some Texas children's lives. Thank you, and please vote no on this measure.